In a distant kingdom, a beautiful but lonely princess, Arzu, lived in her magnificent but deserted palace. The kingdom was under the influence of a mysterious shadow. Every night when the moonlight shone, a strange wind blew that made everyone uneasy. The princess's mother had died when she was young, and her father, King Hamir, was so busy with the affairs of the kingdom that she began to feel lonely. One night, when the moon was shining in its full glory, the princess saw an old chest under the stairs of her room. In a state of surprise and curiosity, she slowly opened the chest, and inside were 3 amazing dresses. Each dress was different in colour, fabric, and pattern from the other. A slip was placed next to them, on which was written in golden letters, "These are not ordinary clothes. When you wear them, you will be able to see what the ordinary eye cannot see. But beware, each dress carries a secret with it. And when you wear the 3rd dress, a truth will be revealed to you that will turn your world upside down." Princess Arzu's heart began to beat fast.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Princess Arzu put the slip back into the chest with trembling hands and began to look at the dresses carefully. The first dress was blue, like the silent surface of a deep lake. The second dress was red, like the flame of a burning candle. The third dress was white, like snowflakes. Were they really magical? Or was it all just a coincidence? A strange uneasiness began to arise in the princess's heart. Finally, she plucked up the courage and decided to wear the first dress. As soon as she put on the blue dress, a cold wave ran through her body. Suddenly, everything changed. The floor of the palace room had disappeared, and around her was a vast ocean. Water was everywhere, but surprisingly she was not sinking, but rather suspended in the air, as if water and air had merged together. Then suddenly she heard a soft whisper, "Princess, you must find the one who gave you this dress. But remember, not everything is as it seems." Where was this voice coming from? The princess looked around but saw no one. Suddenly a shadow appeared in the water, a long, terrifying shadow which was slowly moving towards the princess. Its reflection on the surface of the water seemed terrifyingly large, as if it were not an ordinary creature but some mysterious force. The princess's heart began to beat violently, but she controlled herself and called out in a firm voice, "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" The shadow stood silent for a few moments, then a heavy voice rang out, "I am the one who was imprisoned for centuries, and you are the one who has been chosen to break this imprisonment." The princess stepped back in surprise. "Imprisonment? Whose imprisonment? And why was I chosen?" The shadow stepped forward, and the waves of water began to move. Suddenly, he transformed into a human form, a young prince. There was a sad smile on his face and centuries-old pain in his eyes. "My name is Zaran. I was once the heir to a kingdom, but I was imprisoned in this water by a spell. You are the only one who can free me, but to do that you must wear all 3 robes." Princess Arzu's mind began to spin. Was this real or a trick? If this prince was telling the truth, then who had imprisoned him? And what did the magical robes have to do with it? At that moment, a new movement occurred in the water. Suddenly, a terrible laughter was heard from somewhere far away. "Princess, beware! You are getting closer to a truth that you may never be able to turn back from." That terrifying laughter echoed in the air, and Princess Arzu's heart began to beat faster. A new, ominous shadow was now emerging in the blue landscape of the water, as if signaling the presence of an unseen enemy. Prince Zaran's face also showed signs of panic. "Who is this?" the princess asked helplessly. Fear flashed in Zaran's eyes. "This is the one who imprisoned me, and if you wear the next dress, it will reach you." The princess was confused. Should she really try on another dress? Or would it be foolish to take this risk? But one thing was clear, this was not an ordinary matter, and there must be some great truth hidden in these dresses. Finally, she plucked up the courage to take off the blue dress. As soon as the dress came off, the scene changed. She was back in her room, but this time the atmosphere seemed strange, as if everything in the room was whispering softly. Did I really see all this, or was it all just a dream? She asked herself. But the chest was still open in front of her, and there were still 2 dresses in it, red and white. Suddenly, the window of the room flew open, and a strong wind rushed in. A faint whisper echoed in the air. "Time is short, princess. Put on another dress. The truth is waiting for you." The princess looked at the chest involuntarily. Her hands automatically moved towards the red dress. As she picked up the dress, she felt as if someone had grabbed her hand, but no one was there. Princess Arzu's heart began to beat faster. She looked around, but there was no one in the room. Whose hand was this? Am I just hallucinating? She asked herself, but she knew that this was all real, not a dream or a deception. Should I wear another dress? After thinking for a moment, she plucked up the courage and put on the red dress. As she put it on, a bright light spread, and she suddenly reached another world from her room. Now she was standing at the door of a grand but deserted palace. The walls were blood red, the floor was black, and a strange whisper echoed in the air. "Where is this place?" the princess thought in panic. Suddenly, the palace doors opened automatically. As she entered, she saw a mysterious man sitting on a throne. His eyes were deep red, and he was holding a golden sword in his hand. As soon as he saw the princess, he smiled and said, "Finally you have come, Princess Arzu. How long have I been waiting for you?" The princess stepped back in surprise. "Who are you, and how do you already know me?" The man laughed, but there was a strange coldness in his laughter. Then he rose from the throne and slowly approached the princess. "I am the one who imprisoned Zaron." Hearing this, the princess's breath caught. So was Zaron telling the truth? And if this is the same person, then why did he cast a spell on Zaron? "Zaroon stole from me what once belonged to your mother," the man said softly. "And if you want to know the truth, you must wear a third dress." The princess's heart sank. "My mother? But she is dead. You are lying." "The truth is before you, princess, but are you ready to see it?" he said with a smile. Now the princess had 2 options. Either she could take off the red dress and go back to the palace, or she could put on the third magical dress and reveal all the secrets. But with this dress came a danger that might change her world forever. Princess Arzu's mind was confused. What is all this going on? Was Zaron telling the truth or this person? And if Zaron really stole something, what was it? And what does my mother have to do with all this? Thousands of questions began to arise in her heart, but there was no one to answer. The man was still smiling, as if he knew that the princess was scared. "You don't have much time, princess. If you want to know the truth, put on the third dress." The princess took a deep breath and decided there was no turning back now. She took off the red dress and walked straight towards the white dress. As soon as she touched the white dress, a bright light spread around her, and in an instant she had arrived at another place. Now she was standing in the middle of a dense and mysterious forest. There were tall trees, light mist, and the sound of water flowing from somewhere far away. But the strangest thing was that the same man and Prince Zaron standing in front of her were there. "What is all this? How did you 2 get here?" the princess asked in surprise. The man laughed and said, "Now it's time to tell you the truth, princess." Zaron stepped forward and said, "This man, whom you consider an enemy, is actually your real uncle." Hearing this, the princess was shocked. "What?" The man bowed his head and said, "Yes, I am your mother's brother, and my name is Shah Mir. You will certainly be surprised to hear that your mother's death was not an accident, but a conspiracy." A thrill ran through the princess's body. "What conspiracy? Tell me everything." Zaron took a deep breath and said, Your mother had a magical necklace that was more powerful than the 3 magical robes. That necklace had so much power that it could change the entire world. But an enemy of your father tried to take it away and killed your mother. Tears welled up in the princess's eyes. How is this possible? And if that necklace was really so powerful, where is it now? That's the problem, Shamir said. That necklace was hidden, and only the one wearing the 3 magical robes can find it. And you are the one wearing that robe, Zaran said in a serious tone. If that necklace falls into the hands of enemies, then great destruction can come to this world. Princess, now you must decide. Do you want to take revenge on your mother's killers, or will you bury this secret forever? A storm had already broken in Princess Arzu's heart. Should I take revenge on my mother's killers, or should I hide this necklace forever? Or is it possible that Shamir and Zaran are playing some other game with me? She looked at them both silently. There was seriousness in Zaran's eyes, while Shamir's face had a strange uneasiness. Was he really telling the truth? The princess took a deep breath and said in a strong voice, I want to unmask my mother's killers. If that necklace is the key to this secret, then I will find it. Zaran smiled, but for a moment a strange panic came over Shamir's face. Very well, princess, Zaran said, but it won't be easy. The necklace is hidden in a dangerous place where no one who goes there has ever returned alive. Zaran opened an ancient map on the ground. It marked a valley, the Valley of Shadows. This is where the necklace was hidden, Zaran said, but it's not easy to get there. A mysterious beast is guarding the entrance to this valley. Anyone who tries to enter, it kills them. The princess said seriously, then we have to find a way to defeat it. It's not easy, Shamir said. It's not an ordinary beast, but a magical creature, the guardian of shadows. It doesn't allow any human to enter the valley, and anyone who encounters it disappears forever. The princess asked, Is there a way to defeat this guardian? Zaran took a deep breath. Yes, there is a way. But it's dangerous. We must obtain the Sword of Light. It is the only thing that can harm the Shadow Guardian. Shamir bowed his head and said, But that sword is hidden in another kingdom, and the king there has sworn not to give it to anyone. The princess made up her mind. So we must first obtain the sword, and then defeat the Shadow Guardian and obtain the necklace. But time is short, Zaran warned. If the enemies find out that you are looking for the necklace, they will do everything to stop you. A great decision rose in Princess Arzu's heart. She glared at Shamir angrily, but then she tried to calm herself. She knew that her goal was only one, to find the truth and avenge her mother's murder. I will go to Nuristan and speak to King Rustam myself, the princess said resolutely. We must not waste any more time. Zaran supported him, and Shamir also walked silently with them. They reached the gate of Nuristan, where King Rustam stopped them. Why have you come here? The king asked coldly. The princess, showing courage, said, You have a reason to return my sword. This sword belonged to my mother, and I want you to return it to me. King Rustam looked at the princess with a deep gaze, and then said after a long silence, You have learned the truth, princess. The sword belonged to your mother, and there was a power in it that I hid to protect you. But now you can use this power on your path. The princess obtained the sword and used it for her own purpose. She faced her mother's murderers and defeated them. Peace came to her life, and a new alliance was formed with the kingdom of Nuristan. The princess said, I have avenged my mother, and now I will begin a new era for my kingdom. Tell us in the comment box how you liked this story.